Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. Sorry if I'm looking a little rough today. I'm very tired. We actually picked up Ash last night. Our plane didn't come in until midnight, so it was very late night getting home because you know, then you leave the airport about 12:30 and by the time you get home and get to bed it's very late. But she had a wonderful time. I don't even know if I told you guys or not, but she left Christmas Day that evening and she went to Cuba for 10 days. She came back all sunburnt, been at the beach and had a fabulous time. But we are wore out now and today she wants biscuits and sausage gravy or she wanted bacon and pancakes. So we just had both of those last week, but with bacon gravy. She said, oh, I've been wanting that. So that's what we're gonna have today. And Brooke, God love her, she just tested positive for COVID, so our family is most likely going to be feeling under the weather here very soon. So just bear with me if there's a day that I can't get a video out, as I gotta put the family's health and everybody feeling okay top priority. My mother, thank goodness, didn't come by because she actually is battling pneumonia right now. She wanted to come by, but she didn't, so I'm so grateful she didn't. So anyway, today we're gonna just jump in. We're gonna jump in with some breakfast, and I made a beautiful turkey yesterday and we didn't even get a chance to eat it because we had to run. We were picking up cabinets for our kitchen. Charles got some off Facebook Marketplace and they're beautiful and I can't wait for them all to be put in the kitchen. As he's planning out our kitchen, we're knocking out some walls, we're doing stuff. Big remodel project gonna happen here in the kitchen, much needed.
On a major budget.
On a major budget, yes, as cheap as we can. So very excited about that. And yeah, I'll just talk to you guys as we do some cooking. I know some of you haven't liked the voiceovers. I know yesterday's voiceover, I'm trying different mics and different ways to do it. Sometimes that's easier for me if it's really noisy here. It's easier for me to do a voiceover, so that's why I was playing with it a little bit. That way you guys don't hear all the commotion going on in the house because everybody home, everybody locked in the house. Theo can get loud, Luke can get loud, the girls can get loud. It can get loud. Charles is drilling and working on stuff.
Not just that, but if we got the TV going in the background, it tries to analyze all that background music to determine whether or not we're going to have any music copyrights.
Oh, that is true.
So
that is true.
We try to get that blended out.
So I'm going to do a mix. I'm trying to figure out the voiceover part, but I'll just do a mix for you guys because like I said, I know some of you don't want to. I'm also going to try and film what we're having for dinner every night this week so that I can share a week of dinners with you guys. I haven't shared that in forever. So you can see what we're eating for dinner on the nights that I'm not filming for you guys. But today we're going to jump in with a full day of meals. Cooking everything from scratch. Biscuits and gravy. Let's get going. Alright, so I'm going to go on and start with my biscuits. I know I just showed this with you guys the other day, so we'll just make it talk. So I'm very excited about our kitchen remodel. Very excited. I'll have to show you guys today the light. I'll show you guys the cabinets and just share some of that with you. This is just a very exciting. So the cabinets we got, we were able to get all these beautiful cabinets and they had some countertops for $600, which is a wonderful deal, wonderful price. By getting them used, this guy that we got them from, he remodels houses, and so he keeps some of the cabinets when they're really good shape, and it's just people, nothing wrong with the cabinets, they just want to, you know, redo their kitchen. So it was a great way to get cabinets cheap, and then Charles will make some personalized cabinets to fit how we're wanting to do the kitchen. But very excited about that. Also, sadly, we lost our footage for you guys that we wanted to share with you about raising our own beef and was it worth it? You know, would we do it again? And our cow was very small. For some reason, he did not grow very big. And it was a lot harder to part with him than I thought it would be, for sure. But it is the best tasting meat I've ever had. And cost-wise, it was more than half, or half less than what it would be to buy the beef. It is so worth it. So it is something we will definitely do again. In fact, Miss Belle, that we can't get to milk, I've been asked, well, what are you going to do with her? What good is that? Have a cow that doesn't milk, which I agree. What will you do with her? What is good? And we had to ask ourselves that same thing. She is a wonderful adoptive mother. And part of raising the beef too, so that it pays for itself, is to have more than just enough for us. And with him being smaller, we probably only have, we'll make it stretch, but we don't have a full year's worth of beef. So what we're thinking about doing with Belle then is just every 6 months or 4 or 5 months, whenever we feel like the calves are big enough, to wean them off and let her have another calf on her, because she'll stay in milk for 2 years. So that's what we're thinking about doing for right now. And then we will always have a turnaround of beef here on our farm. And we will also have plenty to sell along with raising ours, which should cover the cost. And then actually even a little more, which will help us put in a permanent fencing in the back and get our own bull, which would be nice, down the road by selling the beef, keeping what we're eating and selling what we're not. The other question we got was about our coonies, and what are we doing with those? How do they pay for themselves? We will be butchering 1 or 2 of them, having them butchered. We're not sure when yet. Right now we're pretty sure the 2 girls are pregnant, and we will sell their babies. Coonies around here go between $100 and $150 a piece. So we will sell the babies and keep some to raise for ourselves. They have a very long raising time. They take 1.5 years, but they also graze a lot. So the cost of them is way less than a traditional pig. So that is what we are doing with our coonies. And then I did tell you guys we will be doing meat chickens this year. So we should not be buying any more meat at all from the store. And we also are going to try, like I said, turkeys. We'll see how that goes. Charles doesn't want me to try turkeys, but I want to try turkeys. Kate and I are the only ones that really like turkey, but I also like to use ground turkey a lot. I think it's a great alternative to beef. So I like to have that as well. And I know I'm not using my grandma's little flour container and everything this time because I'm just doing it a little faster. We are getting hungry. It is 11 o'clock, so we're going to be eating more like noon today. And everybody's getting hungry. So, you can just get these biscuits done real fast. I'll make a little puffier than I did my last one. So I'll show you how, see all those pretty layers in there? I'll show you how these get way puffier than the last biscuits I made. where I was trying to recreate my grandma type biscuits. And that is not going to be enough, so I'm going to make just a little bit more. Another batch real quick. So today we also need to make some turkey stock so that I can can some turkey broth. So we'll do that here in just a little bit. As far as lunch, we're just going to most likely do leftover turkey. And then we're going to do turkey, and I'll make the mashed potatoes and everything to go with it tonight and share that with you guys, since I was not able to do that last night. Alright, so now I would have done even more biscuits than this just so we have them in ready to go. But I used up all the white flour that I had milled, and so I'd have to mill it and sift it. And I didn't want to do that this morning because we're hungry and ready to go. So I'll do that here in just a little bit. Do a quick top of some butter. Get these in the oven. These are gonna be so good and fluffy. That's the most we've had biscuits in forever, it seems like. So we still have a half a gallon of our homemade yogurt to use up, and we need to use it up this week because they say the homemade yogurt is only good for 2 weeks. And made a whole gallon, or used a whole gallon of raw milk on last week. Next time, I'm only going to do a half a gallon. A gallon just seemed to be a bit much. If you guys have ideas for ways to use up yogurt besides yogurt parfaits, and we've been putting it in oatmeal, smoothies, anything we can, let me know. Saw where it's supposed to be really good to like coat chicken. So I might have to try that too later this week. I know today and tomorrow we're definitely having turkey. One of the good things about Thanksgiving time is that you can stock up on some turkey, which I always like to do because it's so inexpensive, or right after Thanksgiving. So we had a few in our freezer, and when we were getting our beef back from the butcher, we had to go through the freezer and clear some of that out, so I need to get that extra turkey out of there. So that's why we had turkey. If it doesn't blind you, I'm going to show you. Here's my light. This is where the old one was, so he's still fixing that. He said there was some wiring issues when he got up there, so he's so glad he did that. But I had seen this light on Pinterest or one of those things, and I said, oh, I love that. Love it, this farmhouse looking. I'd love it in the kitchen. And so it has brightened our kitchen up so much. And somebody even commented that, did I get a new camera? No, this has worked so wonderful. And he spent, I forget what, but these were selling for a couple $100, and he just used old fence wood that we found, and he cut it and he stained it. So the only thing I had to buy was the casings for the lights and the light bulbs. So he got a 6-pack of the lights fixtures for $50, but we only used 4 because he wasn't sure if he was going to make it long enough for 6 or if 4 was going to be good enough to make it bright. So we went with 4. So that's nice. We have 2 extra. I'm sure we'll find a spot for them. And then I'm gonna show you guys these cabinets in a minute. I'm just sitting here stirring up this sausage to make the sausage gravy. Now the cabinets I'm gonna show you, we still have half of them. Oh, sorry. Now the cabinets I'm gonna show you, we still have half of them to pick up. We just couldn't fit that much in the truck yesterday, so we're gonna have to go again. He's about an hour away from us. So, we have to go pick that up. But I will show you those. I'm super excited about that. And I'll just kind of give you a little glimpse. So all of this will be cabinets, top and bottom. And then over here, we're gonna cut out this wall to go into the dining room. So there'll be cabinets along down here. And then on the other side of the dining room will be a little bar. So that'll just open all of that up and give a whole lot more cabinets. Oh, here, he drew it out. If you guys can see that.
That's a very rough sketch.
Very rough sketch. But that's how it's going to be as we're going about. So I told you guys we're gonna do a lot of renovations and stuff like that here over the next couple years and get this house exactly how we want it. Now I wanted to show you real quick. So I keep bacon grease like always, which is a good thing. This is not getting that fatty. So I'm gonna add a little bit of bacon grease to this as well. And that's all you have to do. Or some kind of grease. If you don't have enough fat in your pan. So here are the cabinets. Ignore, this is all my wheat is getting. You can see over here, I'm getting all that put together. Tree's still up, we gotta get that down. But here are the cabinets. They're glass front. I love them, I think they're beautiful. Now all the cabinets in our kitchen are gonna be stripped down and painted white. That'll really open it up in there. And then there's some like end shelving units. And this is the countertop to go with it. So I think it'll be very pretty. So right now our house is in complete chaos. After the holidays, and we still got to get everything done, and we've just been, it feels like go going nonstop. So with this, we're gonna have some of our delicious raspberry jam. I am out of strawberry and I am out of blackberry. So I have berries to make both of those. So if you guys want, I can show you that too. I'll probably do that. Well, I was hoping to do that today or tomorrow. We'll see how tired I am. I'll just have to see how tired I am. I was hoping to get it done. And now the projects I wanted to get done, I gotta make sure I get done before, you know, we're not feeling good. Thank goodness my children all know how to cook from scratch. So they can take over if for some reason I'm not up to it. Alright, breakfast is almost done. I'm just finishing up the eggs. So this year should be a bunch of home remodeling for you guys, a bunch of farming, a bunch of cooking, a bunch of saving money. This should be a really exciting, wonderful year. Alright, so here is what brunch looks like today. Alright, so the next thing I need to do, it's already 2 o'clock, is I need to get my turkey broth going here. So I just have the turkey carcass, but I'll probably have to do this in a couple batches. So I'm just going to throw that in there. It does still have some meat, some the skin and the bones. I also have some of the giblets and the neck. I'm just using all of that. To that, I'm going to add 3 bay leaves. I'm going to add some thyme. And add some sage from our garden, just dried sage. I'm gonna strain it all so I'm not worried about making sure it's crushed or that all the sticks are out or anything like that. I'm gonna add onion. And this, I'm just gonna pick off this little, or cut off this little end part, just so that there's no dirt or anything stuck in there. And I'm gonna add the peels and everything. It gives it a good rich color and rich flavor. And I'm just gonna quarter it. I need to sharpen this knife. I also have some garlic here. Again, I'm not gonna peel this garlic. Sorry, I'm trying to crack some off. I'm not gonna peel it. Peels are fine in there. I'm gonna do a few loads of this chicken broth, so I'll do half the cloves with this one and half with the other. I'm also gonna just add some carrot, just chop it big. I'm also gonna go and add some salt. And some pepper. And then I'm just gonna fill this up with water. This is just water from our Berkey filter. I just put it in this jug, just to carry it over here. I'm filling it to the max line. And then, I'm so bad at getting these lids on. All right, make sure it's on pressure cook and not on venting. And then I am just going to pressure cook. And this is for an hour and 11 minutes, so I'm just gonna let it go with that. And that's it. When that's done, I'll strain it. So when that's done, I'm just gonna strain it and then I'll put it in a mason jar or a big bowl. Most likely I'll use a big bowl. And all the fat will rise to the top. Like this is from the actual, just the turkey that I did yesterday. This is just from the oven. But you can see the big line of fat on the top. So I will scoop that off. And then tomorrow I'll bring all this back up to a boil. And then I'll put it in the canner that way. So that part I'll be doing tomorrow. But you can see how I make the broth. Even though I can't completely finish it for you guys today. That's how I make my broth. And then I'll just show you. So what I do is while I'm getting everything else ready, I get everything in here ready. So this next bowl is just dump. And then I don't have to worry about getting onions and the knife and everything back out. I just have it all cut, ready. Everything's in here except for salt and pepper. So I can just throw this in next with some water and it's ready to go. Next thing I need to do is I need to make some bread because we do not have any bread right now. So we're gonna do that next. Okay, real quick, somebody asked what kind of sugar and maple syrup we're using since we're trying to keep everything healthier and, you know, from scratch. This is the maple syrup. It is just pure maple syrup from Azure. If I lived somewhere where I was able to get maple syrup from a maple farm here, I would, but I have looked and there is not one close to me to go to. Sorry, I'm getting a little short of breath. I got a feeling I'm next one to get sick. And then here is the sugar that we use. Now this is a big old 5-gallon bucket, but it is, if you can see it, it's very large brown crystals because it still has all the molasses and the iron and the vitamins and minerals in it. And this is called sugar in the raw, or people call it secant or sucant. However you want to pronounce it. Then this is the sugar that we're using. So I make this into powdered sugar, or if we need a finer sugar to put in cookies and stuff like that, then I just put it in for a few minutes into a blender, a high-speed blender, or even the Magic Bullet works, and that makes it a finer sugar. Because we find that sometimes certain recipes, not in bread, like I'll put this in my bread today, but certain recipes like cookies, brownies, things like that, that it tastes kind of gritty because it's such a chunkier sugar. So I just grind it real quick, and you could probably just use a like a bean grinder, like a coffee grinder. You could, I'm sure, just use that as well. So yeah, that's it. That's the sugar. and the maple syrup, and then the other sweeteners that we use are molasses, blackstrap molasses, and raw honey. And that's it. That's the sweeteners that we use here. All right, so I'm gonna start with 2 cups of warm milk. I'm gonna add a couple tablespoons of yeast. I'm gonna add about 1/3 cup of honey. That's because this is a good, it's a little less than 1/3. This is a full wheat bread, and so it's really good to have the honey. I'm gonna let that. All right, now I'm gonna let this sit and come to a bubbly. All right, so next I'm gonna add butter. Gonna add some salt. I'm gonna add an egg. Then I'm gonna add a couple cups of whole wheat flour. And then I'll finish it off with the sifted white wheat flour. This is the hard red wheat. So even though this is all still completely whole wheat bread, no white flour in it, it tastes like white flour just because I sifted the soft white wheat. Alright, so that's it. This is ready. I'm just going to lower it down. And then I'm just going to cover this, and it's going to sit for an hour covered, and then we'll be back. Alright, so now this just beeped, so I'm just going to do a quick release. And once this is done with pressure, I'm going to pour it and strain it into my bowl. Alright, so next I'm just going to open this. Okay, so next I'm just opening it. And straining it. And actually, I am starting to not feel very good. So Ash is going to turn this broth right here into just some turkey and rice soup. So she'll take what she needs of this, and then I will can the rest. So as you can see, this makes quite a bit of broth. So next I'm just going to get my other can, or this batch here going, just same as I did that one. And then I'll look at the bones and see. They're not really like fall apart. So I'll probably put all the bones together then and do a 3rd batch. And then call it a day. So that's what the plan is. Okay, so now our bread dough is nice and risen, if you can see that. Some butter. And I'm going to butter these pans good so my bread doesn't stick. You could also do oil if you didn't want to do butter. Or spray if you're using spray. I like to use butter because I like that it gives the crust then this nice buttery kind of flavor. Alright. Then we're going to punch down the bread. And I'm going to divide this into 2 loaves. I'm just kind of moving around a little bit. Then I'll just roll it. And I'm gonna pop it in here. Oops, something fell. And then I'll cover these to let them rise. Again. So here are my 2 loaves. I'm just going to cover them and let them rise again. And then we'll put a little bit of honey butter on top and pop them in the oven. Okay, so now this bread, as you can see, is nicely risen and looking beautiful. I have some melted butter here. And to that, I'm going to add a little bit of honey. And we're going to make like a honey butter to go on top. So it's just a honey wheat bread. So give that a stir. Got a cat ready for dinner. And then just top this top of it. I'm gonna bake this at 350 degrees for, I'd say, about 20 to 30 minutes. So I'm just gonna pour this butter all over it. And then what the kids discovered they really like, and it's a really good discovery, is just take a tiny bit of salt and drizzle it on the top. And it gives like that sweet and salty top. That's really, really good. Now I'm gonna pop this in the oven. All right, so here is the bread out of the oven, the honey wheat. You can see the butter browns the edges. Just so nice. This is probably one of our favorite ways to do bread right now, is this honey wheat. All right, so then here is tonight's dinner. It is turkey rice soup with the leftover turkey that we had and the homemade broth, and then some honey wheat bread, homemade honey wheat bread with the butter. All right, Charles is gonna try the bread for you guys so you can get his honest opinion on the whole wheat honey bread.
Ooh, my honest opinion is that's really hot.
Yeah, it's really hot. It just took it out of the oven.
Did that.
Yep, we're all ready to eat.
It's kind of a melt in your mouth kind of bread. It's very good.
It's got that little bit of sweet. It's not overly sweet.
Much is left. I'll take the container. I'll just go.
They're not. There's probably 1.5 loaves left.
Thumbs up.
All right, you guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. I will see all of you guys on the next one. Bye, everybody. Have a great day or night wherever you are.